Hey everyone, how you doing today? We're actually having a second conversation with Matt, the mortgage guy. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, Mike.
Hey man, one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you here is because you get to see the market from a very different angle than I do. And one of the things that you'll get to see is you get to have conversations with people that are already in a property, right? Right. They've already been in, they've already been first time home buyers, and now they are at a time where they would normally be trading up. So one of the things that I am seeing, fearing, believing is going on today is we have a whole bunch of sellers that are stuck in their house because they can't get the next one, right? They would love to sell their house at X number and buy the one at X plus, but it's too hard. There's no inventory. A contingent sale is not very sexy. They have kids, busy job. So, turnover, or what I call trade up, is not occurring, or at least it hasn't at the numbers we are used to. Are you seeing the same thing?
I am, and I think to your point, like you said, I'm not just looking at the market or reading articles. I get to talk to the market, and the market schedules calls on my calendar, and I talk to them. And I had one of those conversations this morning, and it was just I've been thinking about doing this, and it was a client that wanted to talk about a move up. Mom's on the phone, clients on the phone, and we're just talking back and forth about different scenarios. Do you want to do a cash out refinance and fix up your current house? Do you want to look at buying forward? And in an ideal situation, and that's what we were trying to look for, is try to dig in what it was. We need a bigger house. We've got two kids. We've outgrown 1,450 square feet.
Yeah.
And we want to be in the same neighborhood that we love in San Jose.
Okay.
Even at the $2 million price point. It's so competitive.
You just lost half the country. $2 million.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys.
That's a California thing. That's a Bay Area thing.
Yeah. For perspective, I was talking to them about their neighbor's 880 square foot house that sold for 1.2. So
California is silly.
This is not going to apply to everybody, but I think it applies to somebody who's selling something in Ohio for 120 and trying to buy the
that's what I want to talk about.
House,
this is happening everywhere. Families over the last 18 months have done what families do. They've grown. They're uncomfortable in that smaller home, whether it's an 800 square foot or 12, whether it's 100,000 or 2 million. It's happening across the country, but they're stuck because they want to sell this and they want to buy that. But guess what? That's not available. They could do a contingent sale, but then it just gets too scared or too difficult. And when it gets too difficult, what do people do? They sit down and do nothing.
Right. Yeah. And I was going to try to pull up the stat, but I know from my memory, it was something like the turnover rate. And it was like 4% of homes turnover on average historically. And we're like 1.2 or 1.5, something that's a third of what it normally is turnover wise. And so if people are staying put more often, that's exacerbating our inventory problem where people this specific buyer said, in my neighborhood where I want to live, it's a big neighborhood, but there's only 3 or 4 houses on the market at most at any given time. Yeah. And so the thought of I'm going to try to sell, and then maybe my sale is contingent on me finding a replacement, or I've got to do something where I buy first and then I sell, or I've got to sell and find a place to live and then buy forward. That's just difficult. And after talking about it with the client and trying to get in their shoes, I realized we're exhausted talking about it. So actually implementing it when you've got the job and the kids,
I'm exhausted talking about it. That's awesome.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's what the client expressed. And so ultimately that person just stays put. Right. And so it just makes it worse because I feel, and I have other conversations with other, let's call it a move down buyer, where grandma's in the house by herself. 5-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,600 square feet. Doesn't want to maintain it. Way too much space. But the thought of listing, selling, and trying to find something where she wants to live, the neighborhood that's near the grandkids, where it's really hard to get in, it's super competitive for the 1,200 square foot house that they really want to move into. If it's hard, you stay put, and it just makes the problem worse. So we've got these dynamics where on the demand side, we keep plugging in stuff like low interest rates and more, millennials wanting to buy, more first-time home buyers trying to buy, programs to get more people into homes. And then we compound the problems on the other side with supply, where people can't move because it's too hard. And even this client too was talking about capital gains and how that stuff's going to affect it.
Yeah.
If the current administration says that there's going to be different capital gains rules, they bought for in the fives, and this place would sell for 1.5.
Yeah,
so there's going to
Biden's going to like the Bay Area real estate market. Let me tell you, he's going to get his pound of flesh.
For sure. So
For sure.
it's an interesting dynamic to follow and to watch, because the stats will say it, but then I have the conversations daily to back it up that people aren't moving. I think it inched above once every 10 years for the average, for the first time in a long time, where it used to be, 5 to 7 or so,
Yeah,
where people would be in the same house.
8.5, 9 now. Last time I saw it, it's definitely again, this is what the last 18 months were. I mean, it started 14 or 15 months ago. Don't touch my stuff. Don't come to my house. Don't know what's going on. You have cooties. I am a believer that by this summer, we're going to see, I'm predicting, and again, it's recorded, so we'll see. Let's say we have 1 million homes right now at the end of April. I'm going to say we have 2 million homes by the end of July. So I think at some point, it's just going to break. And these people that are in 1,200 square foot houses want to trade up, and grandma who wants to trade down, they're like, I have had enough. Get me out of here. But we'll see. I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, I would love to see it. And I've heard you said it before, herd mentality and the human psyche. Once you get some more inventory where the first person lists at a crazy price and then goes, oh shoot, I can't get that, I got to go here. Then it's like, oh my gosh, I've been talking about selling for 9 months. I better do it now. I better do it now. And then it's just going to exacerbate that. And so, we move in waves, and that tends to influence markets, just like this huge movement to buy, has been this huge wave, and people are like, interest rates are low, I got to buy. And so everybody's jumping in. The same ideally will happen with listings, because it will be really healthy. It'll be really good to get a glut of inventory, because even that glut from 1 to 2 million is going to barely quench the demand.
Well, I wanted to close in on that, because again, folks, if you know what normal is not 2 million. Right. Get ready for scary headlines. Inventory's up 100%. Normal's 3.3 to 3.7. So don't get it twisted. 2 million is a lot more than today, but 2 million ain't normal. So
yeah, I love people that manipulate stats, and I tell people all the time,
God, crazy.
Stats, you can make stats say whatever you want to say. The funniest part for me is that when you look at year-over-year stats, people are comparing March to March. It's like, do you remember this worldwide pandemic that we entered into?
That whole
March of
lockdown?
2020. Like, you're really going to compare March of 2020 to 2021 and feel like you're comparing anything? That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
Dude, this has been a lot of fun. I look forward to see what's going on. I think turnover is going to increase, but I think we're still a few months out. Thanks, buddy.
Right. Yeah. And in closing, Mike, when that happens, like you said, it's going to be, oh my gosh, we've got double the inventory. Here's where the crash is coming. It's not. We're going to slow down. Exactly. We're going to go from 12 to 6 to 4. In the worst of worst case scenarios, what if homes don't appreciate year over year?
Oh my gosh.
There's 1% appreciation. That's not the crash that's happening across YouTube on every channel. On a daily basis.
Exactly. Again, folks, if you are in California and you want a mortgage broker who is a partner willing to have the difficult conversations and help every day, you need to reach out to Matt, the mortgage guy. How do you want them to do that?
Shoot me an email, Matt, M-A-T-T at mattthemortgageguy.com. Check out the YouTube channel. Straight, honest advice. Whether you like it or not, it's just going to be straightforward. And I'm not going to give you the answer you want to hear. I'm going to give you the answer that's right.
That's right.
And most people appreciate that.
Absolutely. I've got great feedback from all my students. So thank you for doing what you do.
Cool. All right. I better keep it up. Thanks, Mike.
There you go. Exactly.